17 after 7. Hello again and thanks for staying with the AM report. Now, the families of those who've died due to the cholera outbreak in Hammanskraal are planning to sue government. The current death toll stands at 32, with 29 of those fatalities from this community, at least according to official government communication. The disease broke out last month, and with President Cyril Ramaphosa there yesterday, he's added to the long list of promises made to residents. The affected families also met yesterday to discuss the class action against government. The advocate who represents some of them is Moafrika Wa Maila, who joins us now in studio for more. He's also president of the Active African Christian United Movement. That's ACAMU, or ACUM, there you go. Thanks very much indeed for making time, sir. It's lovely to have you with us in studio.
Thanks a lot. I much appreciate, and I greet all your viewers at home.
Yeah, so it's been quite the journey, right? Let me just start by reflecting on yesterday. I mean, you know, some of the newspapers this morning described the crowd that received Cyril Ramaphosa as, you know, being very welcoming, being very celebratory. But did that correlate with, you know, how the families affected by this outbreak viewed that visit?
First of all, the meeting that happened at Temba Stadium is not a true reflection of Hammanskraal, because 90% of people who died in Kanana. He went to Temba Unit D, which is a sort of an upper market area where people afford to buy water, where people are professionals. Not much of the poor are there. Where people died on the side of Kanana, that's where unemployment is rife. That's where people drink the water that killed them. That's why he every time he comes there, but this time he went on the other side. And the large number of people who were there, there were 6 buses that carried people not locally from, remember Hammanskraal has got 4 provinces. We've got Northwest, we've got Limpopo, we've got Mpumalanga, we've got Gauteng. He never ferried the people of Gauteng, he ferried people of Northwest and Mpumalanga. So those people who welcome him are people from the other provinces, not the Gauteng part, which is inflicted a lot by this cholera. So the meeting of yesterday, let's not call it the meeting of the actual affected.
Wow. Do you agree, I suppose, then, with some of the people who claim that he only saw half the picture of what's actually taking place in Hammanskraal?
Half the picture is big. He saw nothing. I was there. I listened to him all the time he spoke after our meeting with the people. Ramaphosa had not even a single family that is affected in the front. He never mentioned a single surname. He never mentioned a single name. He never visited any family. He went to Royval Sewer as if he doesn't know how does the sewer look like, instead of going to the families so that he can speak from an informed perspective. In essence, I realized yesterday, the president of South Africa is cold. He's not in touch with reality. He doesn't feel the pain of the people. His speech was just a normal political gimmick. They were there to campaign. And they did it successfully, especially the Premier of Gauteng. He's a star in campaigning. But as for the solution for people of Hammanskraal, even after yesterday, we are still asking ourselves the question, where to with this water? He lied on TV that people don't die anymore. That's not the truth. Even the numbers you're reporting, they are not true.
And, you know, that's one of the questions I was actually hoping to ask you, because we're also hearing from several civil society groups who are saying they're concerned about underreporting when it comes to the death toll itself. What do you know to have actually taken place, at least insofar as how many people have died of cholera?
Yesterday, we had a meeting with the victims. We invited all the victims in a church in Kanana so that they don't use a transport. They all arrived. We hired even a taxi for some who are far to be picked up. We were shocked that there were new 11 cases that we never heard of. There is Kanana Clinic, people are dying there every day. There is Temba Clinic, people are dying there every day.
Of cholera?
Of cholera. They only report the ones that happen in Jubilee Hospital. Now, the question is that, remember this issue has been going on. In 2016, I complained of cholera killing people. 2016, there is a newspaper articles and everything. I did even TV interviews complaining that there are people who died of cholera, but nothing is being said. At that time, they were calling it E. coli, which medically speaking, I think E. coli will extend to be the cholera if the water or anything is not well preserved. Then there has been so much of, even when this issue broke, they didn't want to call it cholera. They were calling it gasostrone something, some fancy medical term. But the truth is one, this has never been properly reported. The death cases have never properly reported. They only reported last 3 weeks. And they started putting in little drops. But the truth of the matter is one. Yesterday we were with one lady who mentioned her surname as Mashishi. The husband took the water last week Thursday, drank it in the morning, And in the afternoon, around 4 o'clock, he was already dead.
Wow. Sobering. Have you come any closer to being able to quantify the effects of what's actually taking place in the form of this outbreak? In other words, do you have numbers then that you're likely to put against the government's figures? If
we were to talk right now, from what we estimate, we are talking 50 plus, that we think it has not been reported. They reported 29 by far, but we think it's 50 plus because some died on the way to the hospital. The ambulances are not working. They are not able to pick up people. Some people are dying at the casualty. Some, they lock the family members outside the gate from entering the hospital. So there is a whole lot that is wrong.
Why are they doing that?
Because they don't want you to see. At casualty, someone stays for 4 days. There are those who died at casualty who were for 4 days at the casualty of Jubilee Hospital without being admitted in. And when you come to check your family member, the security push you out. There is a lot of inhuman and unjust treatment that is going on in Hammanskraal. And I was shocked that the president doesn't even enter the community that has got more death. He goes past by and go to a sort of an upper class. Remember that where he was, that's where the professionals are. That's where the better schools are. That's where the who's who of Hammanskraal will want to buy a house and stay there. That's where he was. Even the cars. When I arrived, I was like, the quality of these cars don't speak of Hammanskraal. It's probably another ANC caucus meeting. It is not the actual meeting of the people of Hammanskraal.
Sure. My understanding is that, when we speak about this legal action, you're not only representing the families of those who've died, but it's those who've been affected. That includes those who've been admitted to hospital, etc. Do you have a number of how many people, therefore, in total who are likely to be part of this class action lawsuit?
It's hard to mobilize a community that is poverty-stricken. Right after the meeting, I got close to 40 calls. WhatsApp messages from my neighbor tells me we're supposed to come to you. Can't you drive here? So there is a whole lot of work to be done on the ground. We think that this will include close to 350 people because those who are admitted and exiting the hospital who get discharged, there are also many. But after they come with bad effects. One lady yesterday was showing us her legs, how they were swollen before and after this admission. Another man was showing us his waist. He can't even stand anymore since he has been admitted with this. So there are many dire effects on people's health since they get admitted. So therefore, the government is not even telling the truth. Instead, they come there, they say people must wash hands. You mean the whole of Hammanskraal, we don't know how to wash hands? Just a simple common sense. I stay in Hammanskraal. I stay at Unity in Hammanskraal. I'm there. We've got thousands of professionals there. Some of them are dying. Do you mean we don't know how to wash our hands? When they come and say we must wash our hands, we must boil water. Yes, it's fine. Some of us cannot boil water. What about those who are down there who are poor? Because these communities that are stricken hard, it's Wat 49, Wat 95, those are your areas of Kanana, Stingwater, Lepeng, Majaning. But you don't hear much of this death in Renstown. You don't hear much of this death in Unity, Temba that much. Why? Because there are better opportunities. People are farmers doing well as middle class. But in the poor stricken areas, you can't talk about boiling water. Get a jig. Why will somebody get a jig when they're supposed to buy bread for their kids? How will they boil water when city of Tshwane electricity is so expensive?
In fact, I understand that was some of the responses that people actually hurled at the president around boiling water. With what electricity?
Actually, when he mentioned that, people were screaming, were shouting at him.
Yeah.
And he admitted that we can't be boiling water right now. And honestly speaking, I feel the visit of the president was another grandstanding. It was a political gimmick. He spoke about 6 months. How many people will be dead in 6 months? He spoke about finishing the project in 3 years. How many people will be dead in 3 years? Does he understand that people need to drink water?
Yeah.
Then how do we resolve the issue now?
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, as you and I sit here and speak this morning, you reckon there are still people drinking contaminated water that puts their lives at risk?
There is no water in Hammanskraal. You need to drink water. It's either you're going to buy water, which 5 liter will be close to 25 rand a day, and which some people can afford that. Or else you'll have to hope that the water that comes with the trucks is clean.
Yeah.
Because we were told that they will bring clean water. Then people take this water. Some, they take the water from the tap, they boil it, they put the jig and everything. Actually, there is a lady whose sister died after they gave them some pills to put into the water, that it will clean the water for them. But she died drinking the very same water. So in essence, in Hammanskraal there is no water. The only water that is reliable is this one that you buy. But after to buy this one, until when will people be buying water?
Absolutely. And how many people can afford to do that on an ongoing basis? Yes. Point very clear. What are you asking the courts to do here? You know, because as you mentioned, there's just such a multiplicity of injustices, and you know, I'm struggling to wrap my head around where you begin.
Look, there is so much to be done. We are glad that we've got 12 legal representatives from Hammanskraal. I'm just the face of that, probably more of a PR and mobilizing the community around this matter. Since I'm leading a political movement that is more on the ground, have got more ears and eyes on the ground. How are we going to start this thing? Number one, we're going to start with an urgent court application, which we could have long done. First of all, I must apologize to the people of Hammanskraal as one of the legal practitioners from the community. We agreed as lawyers that we must apologize. We failed the people of Hammanskraal. We could have long fought this thing. But anyway, we fought in 2019. We got the report of South African Human Rights Commission, which was not sufficient. We could have went further with the court case. What we'll be doing is that we'll do an urgent court application demanding that the government must give people clean water as a necessity and a need for human survival. And also as part of human rights to give them that kind of a service, which will be somewhere next week, Wednesday, Thursday. Then after that, we're going to go to the Constitutional Court, demanding that the Constitutional Court declare that for the water that the people have been drinking and the service that the people have been getting, it's against their human rights. Then after that, we're going criminal way. Because once life is lost, then crime has been committed. Somebody must be held liable. The question is, who's that?
Exactly.
Somebody has to be held liable. People are dying here. The right to life has been infringed. Remember that the Bill of Rights is the cornerstone of our Constitution. And Section 11 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, Act 108 of 1996, says everybody has a right to life. Now, this right to life has been cut short, has been limited unfairly by dirty water from the government. Now, who must take the blame? Who must we point the finger at? Definitely the President, the Minister of Water and Sanitation, MEC of Water and Sanitation in Gauteng, the MMC of Water and Sanitation in Tshwane, Minister of Health, MMC of Health, MEC of Health in Tshwane, the President, the Premier, the Mayor. All of these guys, they must take the blame. I'm glad when Ramaphosa was there, he told some few truths for the first time. He said, we are to blame, all of us. Yes, they are to blame. Remember this situation started in 2004. Yeah. 2006 it went worse. Where was the political will to resolve this issue? We thought when the South African Human Rights and the Geoscience Council and the Engineers Council reported on the water of Hammanskraal that no, we are worried about this. When all these reports were submitted to the mayor, we thought he will do something.
Absolutely. And, you know, hopefully those words that he spoke there at the podium are nothing, are not just lip service, I should say, and there's some kind of resolution, because it agrees even in the midst of disagreements that at least the Hammanskraal or the people of Hammanskraal have been done wrong by how long this has taken to resolve. So thanks for coming through and for giving us your take around what's actually taking place on the ground. Advocate Moafrika Wa Maila is the representative of some of the families affected by the cholera outbreak in Hammanskraal, now set to take legal action against the government. Once again, sir, thanks very much indeed for coming through.